Are you worried about how to upload large videos on S3 Bucket? Then you are on the right video, because in this video, we are going to discuss two different techniques on how to upload large files on S3 Bucket in seconds. So let's dive right into it. So in the first technique, we basically create chunks on the front end side and then send them to the back end. And then on the back end, we upload all the chunks to S3 Bucket, and we're using AWS multipart upload API. And for this, we have a backend folder that contains all the backend files. And then we have a front end folder that contains all the front end code. And for the second technique, we have separate folders so that you guys do not confuse. So moving to the front end, to the backend code, we have a few npm modules like AWS SDK, Express for setting up the whole node.js app, and then we have installed course so we don't face any errors related to course. And then we have .env. And moving to the code, we have first set up the S3 environment, like the whole S3. We have configured that, and we have provided the access key id, secret key, region. And then I have added this point, use accelerated endpoint true. So I will show you later in the video how to set up that in S3 Bucket, because if it is not enabled in S3, then it will not work. Like if you can only set this accelerated endpoint true when you have enabled this in S3. And then moving forward, I have set up like the limit of body parser, everything. And then this is basically the first API, because we are creating chunks on the front end side. So we first initially make a call of initiate upload. So in that call, we provide the file name, and then we basically send that to S3 Bucket, that this is the file name. And then it give us a unique upload ID, and we send that upload ID back to the front end. And on the front end side, we obviously we have the chunks of the whole large file, and we send all the chunks with that particular upload ID. That means that all these chunks belong to that particular one file. So first we create we call this initiate upload. We get the upload ID from that call. We send them back to the front end. And then after that, we make call to this upload route. In this upload route, we upload all the chunks that we have of one large file. And for this, we have set up the bucket name, the file name, the chunk that we want to upload, the part number, and the upload ID that we received from this API from the first. And then we call the upload part, and then we upload all the parts. If there is an error, then we throw an error. And then once all the parts are uploaded, then in the end we call this complete upload endpoint. That is called once all the chunks are uploaded. So once this is called, in that again we are specifying the bucket name, the file name, the upload ID. And then we list all the parts that from S3, all the parts that are already uploaded on S3. And then we basically perform this. We add all the parts in an array, and then we initially then in the end we make call to this create multipart upload method of S3. And we get the URL, the final URL on which the file is uploaded. And we can go to that URL and download the file, or if it is in a video, then we can also view it on browser, anything. So moving to the front end code, the front end code is very simple. It is like with plain JavaScript and HTML code. You can use that this code in React or Angular or Vue, any framework of your choice. So In this, basically, I have specified the base URL. What is the chunk size? The chunk size is 5 MB. I have a few I have like one input field, and then I am also showing the progress of the upload. Once like a few chunks are uploaded, the progress bar shows like how much file is uploaded, how much is left. So for that, it is also being visible on the front end. And then I select the file. For that, I have added a listener. If if the file is selected, then this file input listener is called, and then we get the file reference in this variable. We have the file name, and then we check how much chunks we will have, the total number of chunks based on the total file size divided by the chunk size. So, and then once we click on the submit button, then this method is called. This method, actually what it does is it and I have this start timer that so that you can see like how much time is spent on uploading a file from browser to S3 bucket. So for that, I have this start time and end time, and I'm calculating the whole time spent. So we are initially calling this initiate upload route. As I told you, in the backend we have this initiate upload, and this we are calling this, and in the response we are getting the upload ID. So once we have the upload ID, we are calling the upload route to upload all the chunks. As we have as we know like how much total number of chunks there will be for a particular file. So what we do is we are making a forum data request, because this is a multi-part request because we are sending a file. So we are calling this upload route with the upload ID and with the file name, total chunk and everything. So here what it does is it basically it is a loop, and inside that loop we are making we are adding all the request, and all the requests are added inside basically what we are doing here is, because we don't want a way that one call is make once that chunk is uploaded, then we make another call. We want to make all the calls in parallel so that uh, we can save time. So for that, I have this upload promise. So inside that upload promise, I am running a loop, and for all the chunks I am creating a new API call with that upload ID with that particular chunk, and all these API calls are added inside an array. And once this loop is finished, we call this promise.all upload promise, that once all of these APIs are executed, then we will finally call the complete upload endpoint. That means all the parts are uploaded, and then once from this we get the result that this is the link of the file. And in here I have also added dot then, that I'm using that to update the progress. Although all the API calls are made all at once, but still using a dot then we can check like once any of the API call is executed, we can increase the progress. So yeah, this is the whole code, and then I have a method to update the progress and reset everything. So yeah, let me run the code. To run the code, you have to first go to data cd backend backend folder. You have to run npm install, and then after npm install you have to run npm run start. Okay. Okay, so our backend project is running now on port 3000. So now I will open another terminal. In this terminal I will go to the front end. 1 second. And then we are in the front end. So to run the front end project, I have installed the HTTP server library globally. And to run this, I just need to do HTTP server. I need to run this command, and it will execute and run the code. To how to install this, everything I have added this in readme. So you can see, like, basically you have to run this command npm install dash g http server. It will install http server globally. And then if you want to run a project, you just need to navigate to that particular folder and run this http server command. So that's what I did in my case. So I will go to this url now. So this is the front end code. So to execute it, I will basically upload a 100 MB file just to showcase you how it works. So this is a test 100 MB file. I have selected it, and then I will press on upload button, and then it will start uploading. You can see the progress, everything. It is showing the progress as well, how much it is uploaded. And you can see, like, within few seconds 100 MB file is uploaded, and it is telling me that file uploaded successfully and the total time elapsed. I have also console log the progress and everything. This is the upload ID. So to and this is the final url of the file. So to showcase you the network, like how the upload is done, let me re-upload the file. So once I click that, so you can see now, basically, initially, the first initiate upload is called, and then all the chunks are uploaded. And first this api call is made, that, and it returns basically the it basically return like the upload id. And once you get the upload id, then you pass that in all these other chunk api call. Like when you are uploading a chunk, you pass that particular upload id and you pass that chunk. So and then you can see, like, these chunks are not like uploaded in a sequence. Some, these two uploaded, then these two. So all of them are being uploaded in parallel manner. So it is a very good approach in that sense, that you do not like overload your backend, and you do all the dividing the whole large file into chunks on the front end side. So your backend will not have to do all the heavy processing, and you do not have to transmit a large file from front end to back end. So there can be an issue like uploading large file to backend. There can be issue on the there can be an issue related to bandwidth or network communication. So it is a good approach in that sense. And you can also show the progress as well, how much file is uploaded. So it is good. So moving forward to the next approach, so let me switch my screen. For the next approach, we basically upload the complete file from the front end, and on the back end side, we create chunks and upload parallel. So the previous technique is basically implemented using AWS SDK 2. This technique is implemented using AWS SDK 3, and it is, I would say, like, less coding effort is required, because in the previous technique we have like three api calls. Like you have to do the initiate upload call, then you have to, once you get that upload id, then you make all the api calls for all the chunks. And with that particular upload id, once all the chunks are uploaded, you have to do the complete upload api call. But in this technique 2, you just have to send the complete file from front end just like normal, and then on the back end side it is just like one api call, and then in that all the magic happens. So for that technique 2, we have the backend folder name backend 2, and we have the front end folder name front end 2. So let me fix that as well. Yeah. So to run that, you just have to do npm install and npm start, just like the one we did with the old file, the old technique. So let me start that. Wait a second. So let me go to cd. cd backend 2 and do npm run start. And then I will also open the front end directory, and in here I will do http server, so I can start my front end. And you can see the application is running on port 3001, and we have front end running on 8000 this. And to check the code is very simple, I believe, in this technique. So we have all these required modules: express env, aws sdk lib storage, and client s3. These two are for uploading the file. And then we create a s3 client by providing the region, access key id, secret key. And we have also mentioned this: use accelerated endpoint true so that the speed is much more fast. So we have provided the bucket name, all of that. I have also created a simple env so that you know what variables to fill in, and then some configuration. Then we have only this one route. So what it does is we specify the bucket name, the file name, and the whole file, right? Then we have this upload method, basically, that we import from this lib storage of aws. In that we specify that this is the s3 client. We specify the queue size. Like, queue size is like how many paths are uploaded in parallel, right? So then we specify the part size, like in this case, like it is 5 MB. So leave parts on error. Like if there's an error, we should leave that part, or we should not leave that part. We should, or S3 should create an exception or throw an exception. And then this is how, like, it is basically the upload method is called. And then we have a listener on that upload parallel method, and we are checking that the upload progress. And whatever the upload progress is, how many parts are uploaded, we console log that. And then once it is all the parts are uploaded, then we return the response, right? So the only issue with this technique is, because with the previous technique all the parts are created on the front end side, so there is not much load on the back end. Plus you can also show the progress, like this these much file is uploaded, like out of 10, 5 chunks are uploaded, so you can see show like 50% of file is uploaded. But in this, the whole file is sent from front end, and then the progress is being calculated and displayed on the back end side. So on the front end side you cannot actually show like the whole progress. So yeah, it is not that interactive, but it is a very good approach, like, because the code is very simple and it is also very effective. So to check is front end code is also very simple. We have similar to the previous one, we have the listener for file input. We get the file, we save the reference, and then we have the listener for submit button, in which what we do is we have the start timer just to calculate the time taken to upload the file. And then we have this upload parallel api. We make that api call, just send the file, and then you get the response. And then we have the end time, and then we check the time elapsed and everything. So it is very straightforward as compared to technique 1. So let's go on the browser and check like how fast this works. So you can see this is basically the similar UI, but you don't have this progress bar that we have in the previous technique. As I told you, because we cannot show the progress to the user, so I select the same 100 MB file, click on upload, and you can see on the network tab, like we're not making a lot of requests. It is just like one request, and in the end, once it is uploaded, it shows like, yeah, the file is uploaded, this is the link, this is how much time is elapsed. And let me open the network again and re-upload it. You can see just only one API call, right? And one API call, you send the file, and then you get the response that it is uploaded, this is 200. it is uploaded and you can see, right? So there are like two techniques. Now I will head over to S3 and show you like how it works on S3. Also, one more very important thing, if you want to optimize this second technique, you can increase the queue size. The queue size is right now 4. So now I update the queue size from 4 to 10 and then rerun the code from using nodemon. Okay. So now I head um so now I head over to the same project, okay, and I upload the same file again. Hopefully, I think it will be uploaded bit faster, like 1 or 2 seconds faster. Let's see, because increasing the queue size can increase the concurrency. It is a small file, so you cannot see the difference. If it is a big file like 2 3 GB, then increasing the queue size can change the time taken to upload the file, right? So you can see there are like millisecond difference, right? For the first with queue size 4, the first time is 10.94, second time it is 9.5. You can see like millisecond difference right now, but with big files you can see like the difference in seconds. So these are the two techniques, and this is the S3 bucket where all the files are being uploaded, and you can see, right, all these files are uploaded. And just to showcase you how to set up the bucket, everything, let me create a dummy bucket for you guys. Name it YouTube demo S3 upload. Okay, this is it. And then I will specify the region because I am living in Kuala Lumpur, so this region of Singapore is nearest to me, so that's why I have specified that. And then keep the ACL disabled, block all public access, uncheck it, click on acknowledge, and then keep it as it is, and then click on create bucket, and your bucket is created. Okay, and then what you have to do is you have to go there, you have to click on properties. In there is an option of transfer acceleration. So the point that I have mentioned in the backend, that this one, use accelerated endpoint. So you can only, if you set this true, you also need to go to S3 bucket and set this, enable this, because if it is disabled, you run the same code, it will take like, I believe, like 3 4 minutes to upload the same 100 MB file without accelerated true. So it is very important that you set this option as enabled, and then apply this technique. I will also upload the git repository link, so you can just copy paste the code. So you need to enable this and then click on save changes, and keep that in mind that not all the region have this use accelerated endpoint true option. There is a list of regions in which this transfer acceleration is supported. There are few regions in which it is not supported, so you have to keep that in mind as well. Plus, other than that, you have to go to permissions, click on bucket policy, and then you have to paste the policy here. So let me paste the policy, 1 second. So this is the policy. I will also paste that in the description below. And what you have to do is you have to copy paste it and just change the ARN according to your bucket name, right? And then click on save changes. So you are good to go now. Like, you just have to create a bucket, then go to properties, check, look out for this transfer acceleration, enable this, and then go to permissions and add the permission, right? And then you can specify the bucket name, the region, everything in environment variable file, and you are good to go. And these are like two techniques. One technique is creating chunks on the front end side and then uploading it, and then making multiple API calls to backend and uploading it. And then one technique is like sending the complete file, and on the backend side we're uh, breaking down that large file and uploading in parallel. So these are like two different techniques. Like it depends upon your use case which suits you better, and then you can decide. So but keep that in mind that once if you follow the technique too, it will like have impact on the back end, because if there is like 2-3 GB of file and you are uploading that, there can be a case of an error that maybe during the transfer there is some error, or maybe because it is such a large file, so your backend is slow. All the other API calls in production live environment, maybe like other users are affected because the backend is consumed uploading that particular file. So also make sure don't increase the queue size to like 30-40, because it will affect your backend. Just keep it as like 4 5 10, like that, not more than that. And then in the technique 2, you have to it is good in that sense that you can see the progress, everything. And again, it is also making a lot of requests in parallel to the backend, so it can also affect the backend. So you have to design everything according to your application requirement. But these are like the two main options that we have to upload large files. Just one last thing, that the chunk size cannot be less than 5 MB. If it is less than 5 MB, then it will throw error. And it is recommended that if you are using this particular technique of upload multi uh, if you are using these techniques like the technique 1 and technique 2, make sure that you are uploading large file. If you are uploading small file, you can just like turn on the transfer acceleration and upload the file in like 2-3 seconds. You don't need these complicated methods. If you're uploading large file like 1 GB, 2 GB, or like at least greater than like 100 MB, then like it is effective to use these techniques, right? So let me know in the comments if you have any other questions regarding this. Thank you so much guys for watching the video.